Hey Gumbooters, in my hand I have the first round of seeds we are going to be sowing in our spring and summer garden this year. So this is exciting times. In order to fill my trays, I just use that kiddie pool back there. It just allows me to pour a whole bunch of potting mix in there, pre-wet it, and it just makes it really easy to fill. I do use a potting mix. It's a premium gold coat potting mix. It has a 6-month slow release fertilizer, and you can use it for either indoor or outdoor plants, and that's what I tend to use and have the most success with. So I use that a lot. It has a wetting agent in there, so you don't want to over water your plants. Always check to see if they feel a bit moist. I have pre-wet this, so I'm not going to have to water them for a while. It is still a little bit too chilly to be starting my seedlings outside and getting them to germinate. So one thing I'm doing is I am taking 2 of these 6-cell trays, and I have heaps of takeaway containers, the lids and the bottoms that I use, and I'm able to fit 2 of these 6-cell trays right on my takeaway container so that I can bottom water all of my seedlings. That way I don't have to worry about messing with the seeds that are trying to germinate on top. I could just hit them from the bottom, and this will rest perfectly right on my heat mats. I can fit 4 sets of these on each heat mat, so yeah, it works perfect. Now, I didn't just walk out on the deck today with some random seeds and say, let's plant. It was a bit more involved than that. I made a big list of everything I wanted to plant. Then I made a map of my garden and put all of my plants in to scale and decided how many of each I was going to plant. So that included how many I was going to plant in my garden and how many I was going to plant extra to try and sell. I picked out my seed packets and had those ordered. I also, because I'm selling some for the market, I ordered some extra heat mats. I ordered some extra potting pots to up pot all of my plants to, and I went to one of the garden centers that has recycling bins and picked up more 6-cell trays. I also had to pick up another bag of potting soil just to get myself started with nice fresh soil to work with. But that's not all. You also have to figure out, when are you going to be sowing all of these seeds? Now, I have a planner. This is just my yearly planner, a weekly planner that I put all of my little to-do lists in. I love making lists and being able to check them all off. But in here, it actually has a month. So each month I have the monthly calendar. And as you can see on it, I have printed off all of the different seedlings I'm going to start for each week and how many of each I'm going to sow of those. And these were printed off of the Seedtime website. I absolutely love Seedtime because what it does for you is you put in your location and it automatically generates your last frost date. Being here in New Zealand, we do have to kind of put in our own or find our own, but if you're in the States, it will automatically do that for you. And then I put in all of the different crops and all of the different varieties that I plan on sowing, and it will automatically put them in for you. Now, I have used this for a couple years now and have a pretty good idea of when I want to plant things in order to have them ready to go out into the garden. So I could just press a button that automatically took all of my varieties from last year and put them in the same spot on this year's list, which was fantastic. I will leave a link down in the description box. It is an affiliate link, but be sure to use it. I love Seedtime. It is so helpful for me to getting my seed planning sorted. Rather than having my computer out here around the dirty soil, I'm just taking this out so that I can keep this open and just have a look. I can check it off, and then I can go back later to my computer, to the Seedtime website, and mark it as completed. So that's what I'm referring to right now, is just my printed off calendar list from the Seedtime website. Today we're planting primarily peppers and eggplants, but I do have a couple other cooler crops that we're gonna get get planted as well. Right now I'm just using a little wooden takeaway chopstick that I'm putting in little shallow holes into all of my 6-cell trays for me to drop my seeds into. It's also allowing me to see where there might be larger chunks that I need to take out of there so that the seeds are able to germinate and set down roots. Because I'm doing peppers and smaller seeds today, I want to make sure that I'm not planting them too deeply. Sometimes if you plant your seeds a bit too deep, they don't have enough energy to actually make it up to the surface of your soil. The first set of seeds I'm planting are jalapenos. These are chili poncho F1s. If you look at the sow by date, it actually says to sow them by January 2024. We're obviously in August now. However, seeds don't really go bad. So we are going to plant these. As time progresses, their germination rates may slow down, but they should still work. So I'm just going to put these, there aren't very many left actually, all in this one tray. And then we're just going to cover these up. And we're just lightly covering them. I also bought some colored popsicle sticks from the local dollar store. And I thought that having different colors of them, it would be nice to kind of separate that by variety. Maybe do the tomatoes all red, the peppers all green, and so on. I have my marker here. This is a Stettler permanent garden marker, Lumo color. This is awesome. So this pen here does not lose its color or fade in the sun, nor does it wash away in the rain. So this is a fantastic marker. I'm just going to mark on this one that these were to sow by 2024 to show that they were a little bit of the older seeds, and we're just going to see how they germinate. And we're going to do all 4 of these with our jalapenos because I do plan on selling these at the market. In these 4 6-cell trays here, we're going to sow some cherry chilies, some serrano chilies, and we're going to sow some cauliflower. I have the violet Sicilian and the giant of Naples, and then some red Russian kale. So these cherry chilies are just going to be for my personal use here. I really love to stuff these with cheese and prosciutto and put it in oil with some herbs, and it tastes so good. And they're so expensive if you actually buy them at the store already stuffed. The serranos I'm also just planting for my personal garden as well. This is the first year that I have seeded my own serranos. Typically I buy 1 or 2 plants as starts from the store, but I thought it's something that I want to grow every year, so why not just start to seed it myself. Okay, and then we have my cauliflower. I'm just doing a few of these. I'm doing 3 of each. These were cauliflowers that I had tried to seed in the winter and they didn't grow. We're gonna try and grow them now. I'm gonna cover in these holes because these are tiny seeds, so we don't want to put them that deep like we did the peppers. We're just going to toss them onto the soil surface, and then we'll put a little dusting of soil over the top of them. I was supposed to do 3 and 3. Well, we're just gonna toss a whole bunch of seeds in there. I put 2 in each of the violet cauliflower. I'm just gonna sprinkle 1 or 2 more of the giant ones, and we'll just see what grows. There's our cauliflower. Just gonna call this cauliflower mixed. Then in this back one, I have a red Russian kale. I do have the, Cave Nero kale as well, but I find that it tends to be like an aphid trap in the summertime, so I'm not looking to grow it now. I'll keep that for the winter. Next we have up our red habaneros, and this is another thing that I have planted multiple years, and I love making hot sauce with these. Everybody really loves the habanero hot sauce. I do have a video for that if you want to check that out, but it is a favorite hot sauce in our house. I am planning on selling some of these at the market because I figure the jalapenos are more of like a mild hot, where I thought I'd also have like a hotter hot. I'm going to do 3 cells of this, 3 6 cells of this. So next up is our Hungarian yellow wax. These have a little bit of a spice to them, but they are beautiful on a fresh salad. Yes, what can I help you with? Don't do that. Come over here, please. Good boy. What do you want? Don't lick me. Don't you lick me. No. No. Don't you lick me. Now we're just gonna move on to some eggplants. So I am sowing 2 different types of eggplants today, and I do plan on selling both of them at the market. This first set here is a Florence round purple, which these are smaller than your Black Beauties, which is what I'm going to be sowing next. They're round, lighter in color, a lighter purple. This is the first year that I'm actually growing these. Last year was the first year that I grew eggplants. This is the first year that I'm going to grow these round eggplants. I do plan on bringing them to the market because they look beautiful, and I think they will be beautiful in taste as well. I do want to get into growing more eggplant though, because I really enjoy eggplant. Marinating eggplant, yum. Eggplant parm is definitely something I love. Anything eggplant, and I'm game for it. These eggplant sticks are pretty impossible to read. The next ones going in are the Black Beauty eggplants. I am planting more of these just because I know that these are your more popular eggplants that people like to buy. And these are organic seeds as well. The capsicums I'm sowing are not king seeds, but they're a Yates, and this is a color salad selection. So it's a mix of red, yellow, and green. Although it has green on here, they're all green when they're premature, but it says vibrant color mix, salad stars, and sweet flavors. Last year I used seeds that I had saved from my garden, which I do have some of those seeds left, but I thought, well, if I'm trying to sell them, I should actually use some store-bought seeds that I know will turn out exactly the way that they're meant to. And yes, I did win these seeds. It's a sample seed. I did win them. And last but certainly not least, some Thai chilies. Now actually I had marked that I was only going to plant 3 of these, but I have nothing else to go in these other 3 slots. So we are going to do 6. These are Thai chilies that I had saved seeds from. I was able to get a few of them to sprout last year, and they just bloomed so late that I didn't actually get any chilies from them. It got too cold too quick. Hopefully by planting them a little bit sooner this year, we'll be able to actually enjoy the chilies. Those are all of the seeds that I'm going to sow today, but stick around because you'll probably see a second sowing in just a few minutes. But before we do that, I had an idea, right? So I don't have a basement. I don't have a separate little space that I can grow all of my plants. Our house is pretty small. And when it comes time to sowing seeds and having to let them sit indoors to germinate, it can be a bit of a space issue. And everyone gets a little bit agitated with me because I take like the chairs from the kitchen table to put my heat mats on and all sorts. So I came up with an idea. Because I'm planning on getting a large greenhouse this year, I do have that small greenhouse that I bought last year, and I thought I'm gonna set that up, but not put the cover over it. I don't think, not put the cover over it now. And we're just gonna use that as like a shelving system to put my heat mats on, so then no one's really complaining that, well, they're not complaining that I'm taking the kitchen chairs. They might still complain that it's in the way, but I thought, what a great idea. What a great idea, April. So let's go ahead and put that together for this year. So we are back for another seed sowing session. Today we're doing primarily tomatoes, and then we're also going to do some of the peppers that didn't germinate as well as I would have liked them to have. I'll show you everything after we get these tomatoes planted. So I have a few laid out here that we're going to start with. In this first tray, these are my Sicilian paste tomatoes. These are a determinate tomato. This past year gave me so many fruits. They were good for both slicing and for making sauce. So I wanted to do these again this year. I'm also sowing enough where I can sell some of these at the market, but then I'm also doing Roma tomatoes next to them. So Roma tomatoes, they're also a determinate tomato. So when we say determinate, that means they grow to a determined height, which is usually about 1 meter or 3 feet tall, and they put all of their fruits on around the same time. So you get a big glut of tomatoes, which is why people primarily make sauces and canned tomatoes with these types of tomatoes. Both the Sicilian paste and the Roma, they're similar tomatoes. It's just that the tomatoes of the Sicilian sauce produced a bit more in terms of weight, and they're just a nicer shape. They stayed good longer, and I just preferred working with those rather than the Romas. So I am going to sell both the Sicilian paste and the Romas because I know Romas are a favorite for gardeners. However, I think this may change, everything may change, but I think I may only keep Sicilian sauce tomatoes for my own garden, and then just sell whatever the extras are and sell all of the Romas that I'm planting. All right, so in these next 2 trays, I'm going to do some black cherry tomatoes. These I believe are indeterminate. I'm going to put them on in my tomato bed. These I'm just going to keep for me. And then I also have Dr. Witchy's that we're going to do some 6 of those, and they're just going to be for me as well. I'm not going to sell those at the market. Last year these Dr. Witchy seeds were pretty unreliable. They're supposed to be these nice big yellowy orange tomatoes, and they were not. Some of them were small yellow tomato with purplish top. They tasted like stinky feet. So I'm hoping we don't get any more of those this year. Next up is our Sun Gold tomatoes. One of you guys actually recommended this type of tomato to me. I think they're like cherry tomatoes, but maybe like a big cherry tomato. They're orange. This is supposed to be a really good tasting. So that's why we're trying these out this year. We're gonna try and sell a few of these, and we're gonna try and grow a few of these, and I'm really excited about them. The next tomato that we are planting, and these we're again planting for the market, are green zebra tomatoes. This is also a new one for me. I know you're really supposed to go to market and only sell things that you've grown before, but I can't help myself, you know? And I feel like if I like it, other people will like it as well. Green zebra is a well-known one. These are obviously green tomatoes. I think they'll be a nice little change to put in salads, make fried green tomatoes, and you can make like a green salsa with them. So yeah, we're gonna grow these. These are indeterminate as well, so they will not come off all at one time. They will continue to grow, and as they grow, they'll just put on more fruits and grow fruits and taller throughout the summer. In this next round of seeds, we have our Oxheart tomatoes, which that's just listed as an Oxheart tomato. This is an Albenga Oxheart. And then we have our tomatillos. I plan on selling each of these types of tomatoes. Our Oxhearts are both indeterminate, and they are meant to put on really large tomatoes. So they're good for sauces, but they are indeterminate, so they're not gonna put all of their fruits on at the same time. But because they're such big tomatoes, it doesn't take as many to get to a point where you can make sauce with them. I tried regular Oxheart tomatoes last year. This year, I am trying a different variety. So primarily I'm selling the ones I grew last year at the market. However, there are going to be some of the others that we're going to try and sell as well. Then we have our tomatillos. These are seeds from last year. It does say to sow by January 2025. So we're gonna finish up these first because they're my older seeds. And I do have a new package of these as well. I do want to give you an update on how all of the seedlings that I've started so far are going. So remember, these were all of my pepper plants and my eggplants. Some are doing really well, others we are going to have to reseed. These are all of my red Marconis, and as you can see, we had really good germination rate with them. All of these guys are up, and these two, these are all trying to come up. We have one a little tiny guy that's trying to still pop through here, and same there, but they're all going to come up. And back here, this one looks like it's not really going to make it, and this one hasn't come up, but that's not to say that they won't ever come up. A lot of times when you're starting seeds early like this, most will germinate, and then you'll have a few like empty spots, but then once you put them out in the greenhouse and you have a few really hot days, sometimes those extra little ones that didn't initially sprout will sprout up later. So I have high hopes that we'll still get a couple more peeking through, but the red Marconis have done really well with their germination. These two over here and this one right at the front are the Hungarian wax, and they have all sprouted. We even have like a little extra guy here, which is good because this guy, I'm not sure he's going to make it. So Hungarian wax, fantastic. Serranos back here have all sprouted, and this is where the peppers kind of get a little bit spotty. So I planted like 30 regular green peppers, capsicums that didn't have good germination rate at all. So these are two of those. So out of the 12 here, we only had half of them sprout, so I'm not sure why. This one at the back here, that's also supposed to be capsicum. I mean, 2 out of the 6 have sprouted. And then this tray here, we have 2. And there's another capsicum tray here. So I'm not thrilled with the germination rate of those peppers, but what can you do? They were a free seed packet. Maybe they were free because they were a little bit older. I don't know. I am going to reseed a whole bunch of them more, and hopefully we'll do a little bit better. Otherwise, I was planning on selling them at the market, but if we can't get very many to germinate, then we'll just be keeping them here for us. Then we have our jalapenos. It's just not great germination rate. And this tray of those older seeds, none. Seriously, not a single one germinated. So I don't know what's going on, but I mean, it's weird that some of them have just germinated so nicely and others have not. So we are going, like I said, we're going to replant some of these. Maybe if we're lucky, every single one of them will come up just a little bit later once it gets a little bit warmer, and maybe we'll be selling heaps more at the market, but we need to be safe. The habaneros were another one that doesn't have great germination. It looks like we're getting about 4 of 6 of these to germinate. These did come up a little bit later, which is why they're slightly smaller. Up here we have our Thai chilies, which, what do we have? We have 4 of the 6 cells sprouted. This one has double in it, so that makes up for 1. So we're gonna end up with about 5 of those. That was for my own personal garden, so 4 of those is more than enough. We'll see if they all grow into something that is plantable. When we can't forget our eggplants. So these are all Black Beauty eggplants and fantastic germination. I think we're missing one here and over there, but then we have like a double in here and a double back there. So really it's almost perfect germination for those. And I have one more tray of the Black Beauties down here. And again, every single one of those has sprouted. The other eggplants that I grew were the Florence Round, and we're doing well here. The last of them is coming up in the back. We've got a double here. We're missing one there that hasn't come up yet, but again, we have that double, so that makes up for it. And this tray, for whatever reason, was a little bit later to germinate, but as you can see, we have 4 of the 6 that have germinated, and it looks like today we have another little guy that's going to be popping up in this one here. So almost perfect germination for these guys as well. So that is how my seedlings are going right now. Fantastic. I'm really happy with my eggplant. I'm really happy with the majority of my peppers. We just need to reseed a few of them. We are going to reseed our regular green peppers, our jalapenos. This is our cherry chilies. I don't even know if I showed you these, but not very many have germinated. So, and then we're going to do our red Marconi. In case I didn't show you earlier, this is our cherry chili tray. Like, one. That is awful. You definitely need to get some of those resown because I love stuffing them. But yeah, if you haven't noticed, we're in my greenhouse. So I have set up some of my plants out here that have sprouted. I have some on that side. I have more over here. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. It will be so full in another couple months. Oh boy. So it won't look as full right now when we're all in just 6 cell trays, but as they get bigger and I'm gonna have to up pot them, it's gonna be full. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. But let's go ahead and get the rest of these seeds sown. So I plan on planting 24 additional capsicums, which is pretty bad because originally I only planted 30 of them. So we're planting almost all of them. I hope I even have enough seeds, which I don't. You know what I do have? I have my own seeds that I saved, which I may have to fill in some of the gaps with here. The other thing I'm doing is I'm not going to plant them as deep as I planted the other ones. I'm not sure if that is part of the issue, but in order to prevent that from being an issue this time, we're gonna make sure we're just kind of sowing them a little bit shallower than we did the last batch. Okay, so I had 11 left of these. Now I'm going to get the seeds that I actually saved myself, which I believe are these. No, not those. Here we are. Capsicums from 2022. I saved like a whole bunch. So we're gonna try and sow these and see if we have better luck than we did with those other ones. Actually, I wanna look at the package of that other one and see if it shows when they expire. I'm interested to know. 2027. Like, these seeds should be good. Last year I only planted my own saved seeds for the capsicums and they all sprouted. So we'll hopefully see if this is the same this year, if we have as much luck. I'm just going to write on here that these were saved. $12 cherry chilies. Why am I doing 12? I only did 1 before. You know why? We're doing 12 of these because we had such poor germination rate. Okay, next up. Oh no. What did I just say I sowed? I just said I sowed cherry chilies. But the cherry chilies are here and the jalapenos are there. Ugh, I need to go back and look. Right, I had to look back. We did just sow jalapenos, not cherry chilies. Oh boy, I'm glad I figured that out. But yeah, so cherry chilies, nope, jalapenos are done now. And now we're doing the cherry chilies. Boy, oh boy. Then we just have a few more red Marconis that I want to plant. So these did germinate really well, but because I'm selling some of these at the market, I want to just make sure I have enough. So I'm just planting 6 more, which should cover the ones that haven't really come up yet. And that's it for our seed sowing today, guys. Last week, there was a week in between the eggplants and the peppers where I was supposed to plant some flowers, which I have not done yet, and I think I need to get a move on. But the only reason I haven't done that is because some of them needed to be cold stratified, and I just put them in the fridge a few weeks ago now, so we're probably getting closer to the time when I can pull them out and
plant them and hopefully get better germination rates. The only thing is, only some of them said that they needed to be cold stratified on the actual website when they were giving the information about the seeds. So I don't know, because when you look them up, something like eucalyptus, your coneflower, some asters, there's different ones that when you just Google them online, it says they need to be cold stratified. However, the only one that said it needed to be cold stratified on the website were the purple coneflowers, or the echinacea. So I wanted to cold stratify some of the others, but then also try some that weren't cold stratified and see if it makes a difference. So that is it for today, guys. I will catch you in next week's video, but in the meantime, check out some of the other videos I have here posted, and I will see you later.